Hello everyone, my name is Raf and I'm making this video to demonstrate you a proof of concept of my little project called White Raven. White Raven is a pattern recognition, alert memory and anomaly spotlight, so you can assist SOC analysts so they can make quicker and better decisions and have more visibility on what's actually happening in the SOC. The idea came from the fact that we all know that SIEMs need tuning, constant work. In some environments, it's very difficult to accurately tune out those alerts because of the volume and how the environment is structured, or for many different reasons. So instead of what I had in mind is a tool that will allow me to see what's actually different from what we see day to day, right? Because we so often see so many alerts on repeat, and instead of investigating them, I would like to have a tool, that was my thinking process. I would like to have a tool that will flag to me unusual occurrences and anomalies to the baseline. That's why I named it White Raven. It is run locally. Currently, this presentation is, this proof of concept is fully on my 6-year-old iMac with 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's which can tell you it's quite an efficient application. It works quite well. Ideally, I did enhance this with AI. AI is not as an engine for this app. It's more as a little assistant, so it can give you summaries or advices or give some context to alerts. It is an addition. It is, the main focus is not AI, but I think it does have value, especially that is that's air gapped. It's local, and those models are, in my opinion, very efficient, safe. No data leaving your environment. Obviously, SOC work is very sensitive. You don't want sharing any data with ChatGPT or any other companies. You don't want to be leaving your network. So the security was one of the main focus here. Not only because I wanted to have this tool, I also wanted to have a locally run AI for my purposes, for the things that I would need and quickly can research, copy paste or reference without sanitizing data, or I just wanted to have everything in one place. During this presentation, you're going to see that the quality of AI is not mind-blowing. That is because I've used the fastest, the crappiest model. I think it's Llama 3.2 with 3 billions. So it does work on a proof of concept. Like I said, when I was running Mistral, it was a bit slow and it was a bit painful to work on this proof of concept. But once you have, it's very easy to switch those models. So you can experiment with different models going forward. When I decide to set it up properly. So when we open the White Raven application, the main page is going to be your little assistant, which will give you the report on what's going on. So you can quickly jump into action. If there's be anything urgent, it's going to flag it to you. If everything's fine, you're going to know it straight away. Is like everything is the baseline there, or are there any unusual events that we should look at? So no active security alerts occurrences are currently visible in our systems. That is because I did reset the data so we can clearly see what's happening. So I did create a test ingest option, so you can try different alerts of your own. But I also have a little seed option here. So we're going to feed the data. I think it's 30 days of data spread, 30 days spread evenly, a little bit randomized. But the data has been designed to look, to simulate the baseline. So what's happening now? So this is just the baseline, no unexpected events we have yet. And we have a dashboard that would flag unusual events here, non-usual events at the moment, per design. We get 2 alerts, some normal data, repeatability is how similar those events are. Right, so we get an alert repeating on various IP addresses in this proof of concept. And repeatability at the moment is how often the same source and destination values repeat. The idea behind White Raven is not only to spot the odd events, but also to flag what is consistently repeating and potentially give you tuning, refinement opportunities and ideas. So that's one. Next one is variability score, and it's from 0 to 100. Variability score combines baseline deviation, new entities, and burstiness. So if there will be a spike in alerts, that will increase the score. If there will be baseline deviation, so for example, we're getting only internal traffic and suddenly there is an external traffic, either source or destination, etc. And White Ravens, so White Ravens, it's something I added. It's basically the anomaly event, the unusual occurrences. And we can have a look at DNS tunneling alert, for example, where we get a nice overview of this alert. So we got breakdown of internal, external sources or destination, burstiness, and the statistics from last 24 hours, 7 days, external deviation. It's still work in progress. I'm trying to narrow down with the data that will really work for me from analyst perspective. But this is what I got for now. We got overview by days, by weeks, to help analytics understand what's happening. Top subnets. So I've decided to operate on subnets because so often, if we're going to look simply on IP address variations, that's becoming too noisy. And we want to extract that signal, the unusual behavior. By default, I've added 24 subnet as the most common one. This can be changed both in settings, so you can add exception subnets. You can change the setting by default, so you can even go to up to, right now to 30. It will be to 32, so you can even, if you want, you can set up, so each, because we know subnet of 32 is basically just one IP. Overrides. So this is if you would like to exclude certain subnets from being flagged as unusual occurrences. This is just in case for the edge cases. By default, the White Raven is supposed to do this for you. Yes, so that's it. Some data. So you can additionally add safe subnets here. Again, for edge cases, actually the whole purpose of the app is to do it for you, so you don't exclude randomly any data. The data should just, you should be informed by pattern recognition what is unusual and what is odd. So that should be done automatically for you. That's the whole point. We get some details about occurrences from the database. Still work in progress. Right now we are mostly focusing on network data. And you can mute the alert and you can acknowledge it, but I'll come to that in a second. You can also flag only unusual events. So right now, because we just have baseline, everything disappears, and we can include muted in case there is a reason for us, to see some data from the muted alert. Yeah, so that pretty much it for the start. Let's have a look at, let's ingest some outliers. So so that's going to be fairly randomly generated 8 outliers for the purpose to present the different possibilities that we have at the moment. So let's have a look at the dashboard. There we go. So hope you can see this clearly. Let me make it bigger. So we have some 4 unusual occurrences for each alert, and reasons are listed. So because there are 4 events, we got a couple of alerts. So we are seeing new source subnets being listed here, new destination subnets listed here. Actually, it's just one IP in this case because it's a subnet of 32. So subnets are being, whenever it's internal traffic, it's a subnet. Whenever it's external, I'm setting default subnet of 32. So basically, when it's an external address, we are intentionally looking at the individual IP addresses. Additionally, external destination deviates from baseline 100% internal historically. That is very useful, I think, and it's not as, the mechanism is not as simple as we never seen an external address in the source or destination, and now we're flagging. No, I'm really happy with how it works. I'll hopefully show you more in a second later on, because it is all about deviation. So if it was very uncommon to see external destination and suddenly we got a spike and we got a new one that's being flagged, it's not as simple as 0-1 approach. That's what I'm saying. And for the curl usage alert, again, new source subnets, new destination subnets. This one is an external, so this is being flagged as well. Historically, it was 100% internal. First seen external source, again, that's a deviation, so we're being informed about that as well. One cool functionality, I don't know if you're familiar with Draco, but if every single IP address is basically a search for Draco, it's a hyperlink. So that will allow analysts really quickly find out what's going on. Those IPs are very random, so I don't know where they go. Yeah, but that's how it works. Okay, next step, let's have a look then what changed in the alert overview, in the alert details. We can see that the statistic here changed. We got a little deviation. We are seeing, what else? Top subnets, very useful, I think. We can see that normally, we can see that it was always a couple subnets and suddenly we get a couple new ones. So that's, there will be an option to set how many top subnets you want to see and how you want to sort those things. Like I said, it's still a proof of concept, so many obvious implementations are lacking. I was focusing on the mechanics of the application itself, as a logic of it at the moment. So excuse me. What is new? Obviously, we got top subnet pairs, which is also, I think, quite interesting. But yeah, we got also unusual behavior history. So you can see what kind of unusual occurrences have happened and at what time. Again, we did an automated preload, so not super useful now. We're not going to triage anything, that's not the point. Yep, and now we can actually acknowledge this if we want. Some details, right? But before now, I would like you to show one more thing. We can again choose unusual only. Before we just had a baseline, so the whole thing went blank. Now we can see the breakdown of unusual events only, which kind of clarifies everything for us. And obviously we could see historically, have there been unusual occurrences before, how often, so maybe there will be a pattern as well, or maybe there's an ongoing incident potentially. Right, so that's it. Let's have a look finally at the Weight Raven. Let's ask, do we have any new alerts? So let's see what White Raven is gonna tell us about the situation we have in this SOC assistant thingy that I've built. Like I said, I'm running it from my 6-year-old Mac with 8 GB RAM. It's really not a powerful machine at all. It's good for office work, really, as some basic projects. Yeah, but it does work. So it's a good sign. If you're gonna, I'm looking to put it on a server soon to see how it will perform. Server is much better equipped, so I'm curious which models I can run on it smoothly. Because I'm recording, I think it's a bit slower. New alerts, yes, we have 2 new alerts. Unusual alerts, no, we already have 2 unusual alerts showing on the snapshot. Let's take a look at the unusual alerts for those. Okay, like I said, it's this AI is pretty stupid. This model I'm using at the moment. Let's do a refresh to be fair. I think that will work better for the moment. There is a lot, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot I still need to do. Obviously, it's just a proof of concept. Okay, so let's say we just opened the page and we don't know what was going on. We had the baseline, we have some outliers that we've preloaded. Let's see what we're gonna be greeted with. So we have 2 active alerts with a total of 2029 occurrences, indicated elevated network activity, notably. Unusual alert section has 2 entries that were in close inspection. DNS tunneling, curl usage, both have been reported in the same time frame. So you see a little bit of correlation centered around new source subnets. Blah 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 blah. So that's much better. That's much better. I am still optimizing, working to optimize a lot of things. So I don't know. We're probably gonna ask about, let's say, what about the DNS tunneling? Or actually, which one I should prioritize? What about that? Let's see if it's gonna give us some useful information. Maybe as an analyst, you don't know. You just start your shift, didn't have your coffee. Let's maybe use a little help from our assistant, find out what does it think we should prioritize, and we can then verify this information later by ourselves, as one should do. Never trust AI blindly. That's not what it's for, in my opinion. But it can help. A lot of times it can speed things up for you. I think that's the best way to use it. Do not over-rely on AI, definitely. That's not my advice. And that's not why I implemented it here. It's more for security and ease of use. It's locally run, it's safe, it's not sharing data with anyone. Data is not leaving the environment. That's the most important thing. Okay, based off the provided snapshot, high severity. So given the limited information and lack of context about events themselves, it would be beneficial to open. Okay, so it says, let's open the alert detail page and see what's going on there. So I can open this one, have a look at it. So this will create a snapshot for the AI agent as well. It also says, without relying on database access, this is also work in progress. I'm creating, instead of allowing AI to query it, right now I'm testing options to have some predefined queries that will be shared with it. You get an option to allow this or not. Okay, for now, okay, I had a look. I had a look at the details pages. What can you tell me now? Let's see if there will be a little bit more information. I know it's painfully slow. It was much faster when I was not recording, although fast does not actually mean good. Like I said, I chose the dumbest model there was. But it just to prove that it works. Obviously, if we're gonna put I don't know, DeepSeek or Mistral on it, it's gonna be much more. It's gonna be much better and useful. I'm really curious to see how it's gonna work on the server, as server is much more powerful, even though my server is not that. Okay, this is not too good, I'm gonna say. So let's have a look ourselves. What else can we do? So we do see that we're having those two alerts with some unusual activity. So we can first have a look, what's the historical data, what's the baseline. Then we can focus on just unusuals. And let's say we were like, that's cool, that's fine. We either created a case or did something else with it. I can acknowledge this. And now when I go to the dashboard, I only have the unusual. Now it's showing just the call usage, and that will so that's basically working with White Raven a little bit like a SIEM. It's more of a hat for a SIEM, really. It's just an extension of a SIEM. Like I said, White Raven needs some work. Okay, I've given you, let's see, I've given you give me more detail. Give me summary for DNS tunneling. Let's see if it's going to be a little bit more helpful. This is not impressive, I know, the AI functionality. I had some trials, and there were times when I was really satisfied with how it works and what data it gives me. and other times like this one is just not being really useful. The most useful thing so far, I think, is just the initial report. In all fairness, I was working on different ways of seeding the data to it, so I might have overcomplicated some things. So I'll need to work on that as well. Still testing. Because of this AI model is being pretty basic, I had problems with it querying the database itself. That's why I predefined some queries for it. But if I'll give better guidelines and use a better model that's a little bit smarter, that could be actually an alternative way to approach this. But let's see, this is actually some data. Let's have a look. DNS tunneling suspected alert has been triggered by unusual DNS activity. First seen of January 12th. Okay, so some context, some timeline, total of 997 events. 4 recent unusual events that are considered anomalous. The unusual events include, we got some data here, subnets, deviation, top subnets that were usually seen. So this is what I was getting, something more similar to what I was getting earlier, when you can first ask it about what should I prioritize, what seems to be a higher severity, which thing I should potentially try it first, then I can ask it to have a look at the data when I give it database access. This is just a safeguard as well, so it doesn't accidentally eat too much processing power if that's not needed. So that's the initial. I think I went over everything that I have at the moment. I do see a huge potential in it for me personally from an analyst perspective, because that could take away a huge chunk of triage away from me, where you are seeing constantly alerts with these small variations and no significant outliers. Additionally, obviously, I accept filtering and some basic obvious functionality. I am looking to accept just network data. I do want to focus a little bit on identity. So, for example, fate logging correlation, something around this idea. Another one would be a command line values. Especially useful, assistant would be useful for command line values. It's hard to know everything. No matter how much you learn, there will always be something that you do not understand. And analyzing a command line values can be really useful. And deviation, command line values, so often those alerts repeat constantly as well. So that would be a real help. That would be a real help of understanding, speeding the triage process. One thing I forgot to mention, since we ingested those odd events, we do have now white ravens counted. We have higher variability. Excuse me. Repeatability. I got affected as well, I believe. This is still work in progress, but yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you at the moment. And I'm very excited for this project, and I'll keep you posted.